Hi, welcome to Great Western Building Systems. My name is Eric Beavers. I'm the owner of Great Western Building Systems. And we were doing some customer interviews a while back. And today I got a special treat. I have Tim Dachtera and his wife, Tristan, with us. They came all the way out from Minnesota just to check out our shop and to hang out. We had a nice dinner last night, and we've been enjoying ourselves walking through the shop and seeing some fun stuff. So I'll let you guys introduce yourselves.
I'm Tristan Dachtera.
I'm Tim Dachtera. Like Eric said, we came out here to check out the operations, and I had a good time with them last night supper-wise, and just really enjoying seeing how the buildings are put together.
Well, back in 2020, you guys bought a building from us, a 50 by 80, really, really nice building. It was delivered in 2020?
Yes, June.
Okay. And so today we're going to talk all about that building. And I'm hoping that you gave us a bunch of really cool photos to share. And we want to talk about the construction experience that you had, and also cost, if you're willing to share stuff like that. I know you did a lot of this work yourself and you had help from friends and neighbors and stuff, but that's the big thing that our customers are always looking for. And I'm sure that you guys would have liked to have a little bit more insight into just the overall cost of it. Obviously, Tristan, you work in construction. You shared with us for a big concrete company. Mm-hmm. Is that right?
Yep. Aggregates and concrete, some asphalt. Mm-hmm.
Is that all your company does?
Well, we do some construction along with it as far as laying the product on the asphalt side. But yeah, it's aggregates, ready mix, cement powder, some asphalt and construction materials.
Okay. So are you guys are in the extraction business too, like the gravel pits and all that?
Yes. On both the aggregate side and on the cement powder side, yes.
Right. And so Tim, I know you're in IT, right?
Yep. Yeah, right. We're a large software company.
Okay. Awesome. So if you need IT help, call Tim.
No.
But you also have a YouTube channel.
I do. Doc's Autos. Yep. Mainly started pre-COVID as going to be auction flips and quick sells. And that's turned into kind of full-blown restorations of old and classic cars, random DIY stuff, RVs, kind of a host of anything without wheels.
Much to my chagrin. I mean, he's put projects that I'm like, what are we doing here? But that's how it goes.
I see the videos too. They come through my feed. Obviously I'm subscribed, and sometimes you got like some old, really cool old projects in there. And then sometimes it's like a late model. I wouldn't call it a late model, but like I've seen like late 90s domestics.
Yeah, I've got a couple of long-term restorations. There's an old 52 Chevy, a 72 Challenger. And then I've done stuff like I brought home a wrecked BMW from salvage for my daily driver. So the whole gamut, work on the wife's car for, general oil change, brakes and whatnot. And then, big old pickup fixing stuff, the abandoned RV that hadn't driven for 10 years. That's in the shop now. So very happy to have a space to work on the stuff inside. And then now we just put in concrete last fall. So that's also a joy to be not working on dirt.
Yeah, the gravel floor.
Yeah.
We've been lucky enough to be able to kind of feature some of the great building project and the whole timeline in your YouTube channel as well.
Yep.
And do a playlist for that.
So is the RV a flip, or is that?
It will be a flip. Yeah. It's more of a longer term thing. It needs a lot of work. The roof is heavily damaged from moisture, and other stuff as well. So it's nice to have a home for it to be indoors and out of the weather. But yeah, pretty much anything. We've done paint jobs, brake work, body work. And for, that's kind of my passion outside of the day job. So having a place to go and work on those things after, work or after the kids are in bed for the night. Great to have a space to work on stuff.
And I like that you brought up that having a place that you can go to work on your hobbies or work on your cars or, run your side business and stuff. That's nice. I think that's what, the majority of our customer base is. you saw some stuff out here, these big commercial projects and stuff that we do, but primarily that's what we do. And it's so nice. And it's funny that I own the metal building company and I've never had a metal building. I want talking to Nicole and my wife of like, geez, like I want a 40 by 60 shop. I have plans for it and everything, just never really wind up with the time.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's good that you were able to do that it's working out for you. Now this thing is cool. We will I'm going to share your drawings here. This is just the isometric frame drawing, and it's kind of in the wrong orientation. The front of like where you guys walk up to this is actually from over here. It's kind of the way it looks in the video. So this is this part of the building here is really what I kind of consider the front of your building, right?
Right. Yep. And that was one of the things we really wanted to do. We didn't want to have anything with posts in the ground that we could back into, me back into.
Or delivery, like UPS or FedEx. We didn't want to have them have to worry about it either. And I'm not sure if you know this, but we originally had that awning area lower and then we wanted to raise it up. So there would be less concern when it came to anybody hitting it as well.
So this is relatively right after construction, right? When we came out.
Yep,
and
I
built
think
this?
you were out November-ish.
Yeah, it's definitely not summer.
No. And since this, we've actually gone and thrown a 84 panel solar array on the southwest facing roof line too. So we did have the building engineered for extra load to have something like that put on in the future. So when we put everything together, we were kind of planning ahead, not just going for what we want today, but what we want to do in the future. So,
and are you able to capture that energy like with like a Tesla Powerwall or like battery packs?
No, that's going back to the power company or co-op. And we were actually told by the solar contractor that it's not worth it financially right now to do the power walls or the power banks just because the technology is not there for the added cost.
Okay. So in Minnesota, or at least with your electric company, you're able to sell that power back.
Yep.
Because I know in California, they're not allowed to do that anymore. That was a big thing, and people did that. And I guess the power utility in some places, they're not in the business of buying power; they're in the business of selling power. But so that offsets your electricity bill
for the shop.
Yep.
And have you noticed an impact?
Yeah, they wired it up to the shop panel versus the house panel, so we get a credit back on the shop every month and then still pay a house bill. But it ends up kind of balancing itself out, especially in the warmer months. January, February, not so much, but pretty much June until September, October, definitely see some savings there.
I mean, we take into account the solar loan for the length of the project, length of the loan, and then it's pretty close to a wash for what we pay back versus what we pay on the loan. And then once we're done with the loan, then it becomes more of a profit situation for us.
Right on. And what is the lifespan of a solar panel, those photovoltaics?
They're warranted for 25 years.
Which is the length of the loan as well.
Okay.
We're going with that. Because if something goes out while they're under warranty, they're still under the loan process. But once the loan is paid up and the warranty has now expired again, then if something breaks, we do a cost benefit analysis and figure out whether or not it's worth replacing or if it's just, we've got 84 of them. So,
yeah, sure. And I guess with it being under warranty, if they're not around to warranty it, you don't have to be around to continue paying for it or something, right? It kind of like forces it's not like, hey, a Great Western, we have great warranties, but really they're they're only going to last as long as Great Western lasts, which will hopefully be a long, long time.
Yeah, but it's equipment. All the inverters are from Solar Edge, so it's a good known brand.
Okay, awesome. So let's in the past these interviews that I've done have kind of aggravated some people because we don't get to the point what everybody wants. So walk us through the construction process. I'm gonna grab, or actually, let's talk about cost first. Do you mind talking about how much this thing cost you?
It's
Do you have our bill handy? I mean, because we had dirt work we needed to do, right, in preparation for the building. We decided to do concrete poured footers, which was a great
foundation.
Yep, sorry, foundation, which was a great investment, and we can tell you all about our flooding challenges. But that was a great investment. So you've got some lead work before you actually put the steel building up, and keeping that in mind. Then we had the price of the building on top of that.
And that price changed a few times. We went through, had our plan set, and then we wanted to add a lean-to on the back of the building, so 12-foot long by the 80-foot length, which added some additional cost. And then
engineering for it as well.
And then the re-engineering for that front porch area was a little bit extra. And I think it was somewhere in the
55?
Yeah.
I think it was worth it. I mean, going through and adding that extra area, and you can see that extra area in the back right here in this picture. And it gave us a lot nicer covered area. We've got half of it available to the horses who want to come and seek shelter. And the other half, we park some of our equipment, excess hay overflow in the summertime out there, and potentially plans for it in the future. So, and then having that awning right out in front of the walk-in doors has been great for mud. It's been great for trying to keep the ice away from those front doors. And the delivery drivers appreciate that because of them have our deliveries dropped right there at the shop.
I mean, it really just kind of ties the whole building together. And you know, from my perspective, it changes it from just being a pre-engineered metal building,
right?
With a lean-to on the back, and you know, Wayne's got some nice features, but it really jazzes it up. And I like how
the things that Tristan wanted was a nice approach, because that's the first thing you see when you come up to the property. And we didn't want just a big brown box, so that's why we've got that porch out front, the extra eave extensions and whatnot.
And it really helped to not put the support posts underneath of that entryway too, just for hazards of backing up into it. It would have cut a little bit into the area that we tend to occupy with equipment as we're pulling through. It was nice to be able to have that as well, free of any support beams or structures underneath of it.
I like how you did the recessed lighting in the soffits.
Yes.
That is really cool.
You can see that from a mile away down the road, and it looks beautiful. Our house is halfway up the hill, so you don't see much lighting from that area. Plus, it's protected by a lot of trees. But the shop you see, and it looks nice.
Okay, so this is the other side. Let's see here. This is basically where this is where the building's sitting.
Yeah.
Right. So this was the winter before.
Yes.
Yeah.
Okay. And you sent those.
It's important to note where the water is melting and where it's moving, because in preparation to put the shop there, we dug under for culverts to make sure that we had a good outlet for water to run underneath of the driveway instead of over top and come up to the building. However, to also prevent any sort of flooding, we did the poured foundations and have at least a foot above grade to make sure that if any water does flood, that we end up having a little extra protection so the water doesn't get in the building. And it's worked wonderfully.
Yeah. A couple of times saved us.
Go check out the flooding short that Tim just posted. It's a big that's a flood. It turned it was pretty impressive. Just water all the way through here. So this is a really nice photo. This makes me want to move to Minnesota. This is gorgeous.
Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, so we got some
8 a.m. morning. Our contractor rolls down the driveway with the excavator.
That's pretty cool. Okay, so this is digging out. Now, did you do like structural fill? Did you have to dig everything out and then bring in new dirt, or just you had there?
So they basically swapped. This was about 8 feet of black dirt they had to carve out, and they brought that up the hill. and then they carved out the pasture to the right of this frame, and then brought that back down because that was all the hard clay.
Oh, that's right. I remember when we were out there,
Yep.
you could still see the scar area.
Yep.
Okay, so you didn't have to buy dirt; you just had to move dirt.
No, they actually
And
best fill that they could find came off that hill. They said we can't buy it any better than what you can provide it. So it was just a swap up.
so 50 by 80, swapping the dirt. Do you remember how much the excavation and everything cost?
Uh,
Well,
it was a neighbor that did it, so we got a good neighborly discount. But there's also some extra costs in there for the culvert. It was, I think, 150 feet of 36-inch culvert. We ran water down to there for a hydrant as well, so we've got a couple of hydrants involved. And we did some work for trade, so haven't gotten a final number on that. But the numbers off the street I got were close to $30,000 just to move the dirt, not do any of the extra stuff.
Oh wow!
Yeah.
So that's quite a bit. I mean, that's pretty awesome. And I think a lot of our customers, the more you doing it yourself, the more you can save. Yeah. So these are some pretty cool pictures. Let's see. You got there's your culvert.
Yep.
So 36 inches, and that's running in here.
yep.
That whole trench, yep, because when water comes down the hillside to the right of the picture there, it
Yep.
would run right through there.
And then our neighbor Ryan Manufacturing actually did the grate. And so the grate sits level with the grass and then it drops down and then runs into the culvert like that at the bottom of the hill, which is something that is a little bit tough for us to do in a different way because we really needed to get down below grade for that culvert and we couldn't do a slope. It was too steep. So instead he was able to manufacture us a flat grate to sit on top. I think that's a big
And
part that you need to anticipate when it comes to putting a building in is what do you need for the land to prepare for the building?
yeah, it's a big piece of it.
Yep.
Mhm.
Yeah, we were going to just put in a culvert and then realized it was a 7-foot drop to get to the culvert. We've got young kids. That's going to be just problematic for everybody. So they came back with a different idea. This grate sits flush on grade and very minor grade into that grate. So
Worked really well.
Yep.
Also keeps the dogs from falling in too. That's a concern.
Let's go. So this is basically the building pad prior
Yep.
to this is all compacted, ready to go, and the black dirt's up on the hill.
Yep, that was done in 2019.
So there was time to settle. We were
Are these anchor bolts?
Yep. Yeah, but we had originally thought that it'd be a year or two, maybe 3 years before we actually built. Plenty of time for that material to settle, and then a year later, there we are.
Tim was highly
Okay, so all that culvert work was done before you even bought a building.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. There comes our building.
Yeah, awesome.
And the driver that came by, he and his wife were dropping off this load and starting their anniversary. So they were happy to speed things along and make sure everything got off. And away they went. This was in the middle of June, so it was 85, 90. Had a buddy come down and help me. And hour and a half, 2 hours, we had everything unloaded so they could continue on their way. And then after, we went ahead and restaged everything up the pasture.
And I am grabbing so we can get into some of the stuff that people want. Okay, so we got a 50 by 80. You got a steep pitch on this. This is a 412 pitch.
412, we did 16-foot sidewalls. Somebody had suggested we go from 14 to 16 because, well, you never know if you're going to get something like a big camper.
which we
And
did.
next year we got a big camper, and now there's a 37-foot motorhome in there too.
Yeah.
So
But in order to clear that air conditioner on top of the camper, and it's a gooseneck, a fifth wheel, you really wanted to have that extra feet.
Yeah.
And the extra foot on our garage stalls too. I mean, when the size of the garage stalls, the height of the garage stalls came up, I'm like, go taller.
yeah, they're 14 by 14 insulated doors.
And then also when you're putting in the insulated doors, we made sure to run our insulated doors so they follow the pitch of the roof a little bit. So they didn't cross straight across and end up being a bit of a hazard there.
Yeah.
We wanted the height available to us.
And one of the big draws for us for steel was unobstructed interior. We have no framing inside. So again, like Tris said, with the rails for the garage doors running up, we don't have anything. I think we have 27 feet nearly at the peak. So we have room for we could loft a bowling alley in there if we wanted to.
Yeah, here I can share that. It is the wide span of a pre-engineered metal building really is nice. Share something else.
And we had spent what 3 years, 2-3 years, kind of planning of what we wanted to do, and we're looking at just the traditional stick building, and ran across Great Western, some online ad. I don't even remember where right now, and they were like, "Well, this seems like a better idea for what we want to do." And then back to cost, having us being able to erect this ourselves with some friends and family, it was half the cost of having a stick building built by a contractor.
Yeah, doing the labor is going to save, but so yeah, you got 23 down to the floor level. But okay, so let's talk about the cost. The building itself, yeah, the lean-to. There's a couple of big ads here.
Yep.
The first the lean-to and that overhang were quite a bit. But I mean, like I said, I think it's a good thing that you did it, and I really like the flat. I remember talking to you about this before we, I think before delivery. This flat soffit right here.
Yeah, we added it.
See where I'm moving my mouse?
Open up, so it wasn't open.
Yeah.
Pretty cool.
Yeah.
And okay, so it's about $66,000. Of course, that's 2020 money.
Yeah.
But it's a lot less than this thing would have cost in 21 or 22. Mm-hmm. Certainly 2022. But that's a lot of building for.
Yeah.
A lot of building for 65. So how do the garage doors? Do you remember what you spent on those?
I want to say those were 55 or 58. They're Clopay doors. They're insulated. They've got the 4 windows in them. The insulated and window panels were added. But those were put in October of 2020. And figured,
Sure, me.
Yep, you were making anchor bolts.
You're running the angle grinder.
Yeah.
I don't even remember doing that.
That was one of our date nights.
I think I was pregnant at that time too.
No, you just had, because that was in the spring or summer.
Was it?
Yep.
And I like this, the all thread anchor bolts, and then I like how you did it. I think there's a good picture of it in here. There you go.
Yep. Yeah. All the templates.
Yeah, that's awesome. And you did all that yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. And Tristan, since you work for the concrete company, did you use one of their, contractors that you guys are aware of to come and do the frame, the forming and stuff?
No, because that's not what we do when it comes to our company. We are more the produce the product, deliver the product. And so Tim contacts that he was reaching out to some friends and was able to.
Yep. There's an outfit out of western Wisconsin, I think near the Ellsworth area, Plummer Concrete. They are like the guys for big jobs like this. And the end product was fantastic. I think we're off maybe under 3/16 of an inch end to end. We didn't have to shim anything in the building in terms of the steel. Everything just went together perfect. And these guys were in and out in 2 days.
Yeah, I want to say 2 days.
Just soup, no kidding. So first day was framing and pouring this, and then the next day they came in and did the stem?
Yep.
I remember you talking, Eric, about how crucial it is to make sure that everything is level, and that really made the difference when it came to assembling the building. I think just having that kind of perfection made life a lot smoother when it came to putting the building up correctly.
Yeah, absolutely. Tim, you when we talk, you always remind me, how well everything fit together. And I think you said there's like one hole that we had to drill out or whatever it was. And that is the expectation that everybody should have, but you only get that experience or that, that type of a project if like Tristan said, if the concrete is dialed in, particularly like the spacing of those bolts, a set of anchor bolts, hey, they're a half inch off. That might not be a big deal, or it's twisted. Frame still goes down, stuff still bolts up, but those problems migrate through the building as you're putting it up. Yeah, exactly. And you're always fighting it. And that's what we find most of the time when, if somebody's purlin holes aren't lining up and they're measuring out correct to the details, there's something going on down lower. that's doing it. It's all easy to resolve and stuff, and that's why we have why we do these videos and everything. But that is a lot of dirt work. So that big old pumper.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And so, did your concrete guys actually place the anchor bolts for you, or did you come out there and line them up yourself?
At for us, I just built all those drop ins, and they placed them in right where they should be.
And did you go double check their work or anything like that?
I had no clue what I was checking.
Okay, so they did a great job. So shout out to those guys.
Yeah.
I
trusted that these were the guys to call and have the work done, and everything was spot on.
And then, so do you remember about what the concrete was to having those guys come out do the form work and everything?
Their price?
Yep.
I don't remember.
I think plumber was 28 or 30. No, concrete was less than that. That was less because of your discount.
Fee discount.
Yes. Yeah, but I think there's about 65 yards of concrete in the foundation, and then about 63 in the floor.
And you did the floor just recently.
Last fall, yes.
Okay.
Yeah, we've got,
and
that's a roughly 5 inches thick throughout the whole building, and then we do have heated floor in there as well.
We had initially planned on only doing heated floors on the west side, and then putting a wall in between the two different sides to try to curtail any heat loss for the shop area. And then the more we filled the shop, as we anticipated would be the case, the more we realized we just didn't have the room to separate them. So we ran heated floors throughout the whole thing. I mean, if you're going to be doing it, we figured why not just do it right.
Yeah. So this was originally the side that would have been heated, and this would have remained
cool.
Okay. And you have, I don't think we have a good shot of it, maybe in some of these other photos, but were you going to put stalls on the backside?
Yes. There's 4 doors right now. We haven't built all the stalls yet due to just time and figuring out where everything is going. But there are doors there to put them in at some point. And those are 8-foot high doors, I think 44 inches wide.
And yeah, we can kind of see them there. So this is, you did the lean-to first, and so you kind of just moved off the building that way.
We started on Friday night, and then started this on Saturday morning after we got 4 inches of rain overnight.
This is just you guys and neighbors and friends, right?
Yep, we had probably 8 or 10 friends come and help. We've got a good family of extended friends, or family of anyways, a lot of good friends from a group that we belong to came out to help. That have some experience in erection and other projects, which is really great to have. A couple people help with meals and running around getting tools and holding ropes, but by and large, good group of folks that had some sort of a clue what was going on, because I sure didn't.
You did. You had a very good idea.
Okay, I've never done this before, but I built erector sets as kids, so it's kind of the same thing on a bigger scale, right?
Well, and then you had staged all the parts up the hill. You had a pretty good idea of where the parts were, and even though we were doing, still running up the hill and going, okay, where did that part go? Tim had a good idea as to the process that he wanted to do it, where the parts were at, the whole kind of flow. And he'd been studying all the videos that you had posted as well. I mean, he's a big planner, so he was on top of making sure that he had a flow and what he was looking at doing. And it's just nice to have the guys who are willing to take direction, but also to make suggestions as to, maybe we should do this first. Let's talk about what do you want to do next. And it worked out very well.
It's the group of friends where you say, hey, I need help with something, and they're right there.
Yeah.
So, and they were fed very well.
Awesome. So, I keep moving my screens and stuff around here. So this is day 2 in this photo?
Yes, that's the morning after we got a bunch of rain.
Yeah.
Okay.
Blessed with difficult weather that weekend.
So start to finish, even with the weather, how long did it take you to get the primary frame before you started sheeting or anything? Do you remember how long that took?
We had all this heavy stuff up that weekend, so probably 2 full days of work. And then there were some remaining purlins and girts to add in, but we had probably 80% of the structure up with all the extra girts and purlins, and then there's rain.
Yeah.
And then
there's
I plugged away at the last bit of steel, and then the sheeting throughout the fall.
You see the tent has gone down with all the weight, and
yeah, you lost your easy ups.
Yep. Then they blew across the pasture and walked off on us.
Oh, you were telling us about that last night.
Yep.
Okay, so primary and secondary framing is always my favorite part of the building because it goes so fast and it's really enjoyable, or I've always enjoyed it.
You see a lot of accomplishment in that first part. All of a sudden,
Right, it's
nothing to having a building.
Right. And it's the piles of steel out there are getting smaller, and then it's time to sheet, and it's like, man, we were doing so well. What happened? Why did we slow down so much?
Yep.
It's just,
and that's the stuff that takes time, and a lot of the trim work for someone who hasn't done it before is difficult to figure out to do right. So again, lots of the online tutorials and stuff would be great to watch.
Yeah, the RR, I think is it
RR building?
Is it RR? Yeah, I love his channel.
Greg and their stuff.
Yeah, Pole Barn's totally different product, and a lot of the sheeting and the flashing and stuff is a little bit different, but it really gives you a real good understanding, and watching that stuff really makes doing a metal building, even easier.
Especially a lot of the detail work with the corners and getting your cuts right on your J channel and your bottom trim there to make things look right. A lot of work.
Mm-hmm. I wanted to see that. Okay, those are just door jams. Okay, I'm going to skip forward. So 3-4 days to do this, and then, ooh, that was a cool picture. That's pretty much, well, it's not totally framed, but there we go. That's about framed out. I guess rake channels and stuff still need to go on, but that is a cool looking building.
And you can see the structure for that porch up in the front.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the hip is nice without a column or a beam. Try to go through here. There's the pointer.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, dog's making an appearance.
Okay. Oh, here we go. All right. So wainscot on your building. So
yeah, we wanted it to look polished, not just like a regular outbuilding, but polished. And we really thought that the dark wainscoting looked really nice with the roofing color. And so that way it complemented, and it pulled the house together nicely. What we don't see in these pictures is that, a year later we ended up with a huge hailstorm, and we ended up replacing all the siding on our house, and we had it match our building to the best.
Oh, perfect.
So it really looks nice now.
Mm-hmm. And this wrap that you did that on the entire building, right?
Did not do it on the ceiling, but on the walls we did, just as a vapor barrier. Yeah. And then
okay,
there was some concern about spray foaming with steel. I kind of got over that. But also I kind of did this in phases. So I did the wainscoting first and then worked my way up the walls.
And your building is now insulated, right?
That's starting in 3 days.
Oh, in 3 days. Yep. And that's going to be all spray foam, and that's fine to go right onto the panel. Of course, I let people know every time it comes up, it does void the panel warranty. And that, that's a pass-through warranty, but we have lots and lots of people do it. Yep. I really like it. And it's really just voids the rust through perforation warranty. So if water gets trapped in a pinhole leak or something, that's what the panel company says, but I've never seen anybody have an issue with it.
And the walls are all sheeted, and if the roof has a problem, well, that entire solar array has to come off first.
Right.
So.
Well, the other part is it's nice thick steel. So when we ended up with that hailstorm, we didn't really notice any damage. There was damage when the inspector went up and looked, but I mean, it handled the hail, and hail was about the size of the palm of my hand. I've got some pictures of it, but it handled the hail really well.
Oh, really? That's
huge.
That's good. I would expect hail So metal building panel is going to handle hail a little bit better than a car, but I would expect, dense for sure.
Yeah, it wasn't noticeable.
Now, there's a few pings you can see, but again, that's on the roof, which is going to be insulated in a few days. And now it's covered by solar. I think there's 1 or 2 pings you can see in the lean-to, but any of the walls, you don't see any dents or damage there. So as opposed to our loafing shed, which was steel from the home store, that's got some dings in it.
Yeah. And the house definitely was
New siding, new shingles all around.
new roof.
Screens. I remember that when we had a hailstorm, they had to replace all of our screens.
Mm-hmm.
So how long did it take to sheet the building?
Number of afternoons. I had a bunch of family leave left from our son's birth, so I would take half days in the afternoon and go out and work on the shop. So
good use of paternity leave.
So a couple, 3-4 hours, 3 days, 4 days a week, just poking away at it, and had the father-in-law come up one day to help with some of the sheeting on the end wall with those 18-foot panels. A little tough to manage by yourself, but picked away at that, and then had some friends come down for the roof sheeting one weekend. I think there was 5 of us, and we got that done in a couple of long days.
Yeah.
Once you start going on that, it really can go fast. Yeah. And of course, it's all family labor, so no cost for the erector.
Nope, just
what
beer.
Anything that you would recommend for somebody else kind of in a similar situation that you'd want them to know, or you wish you knew before you got into this?
I think a lot of just learning as you go. I mean, like Tristan, I did a lot of research and learning online how things are done. A lot of your videos, a lot of our building stuff, like we said. There's some things, corners aren't perfect everywhere, but
that's more us.
Yeah, I see stuff, but everybody else doesn't. So I think just it's a take your time. Don't try and rush through it. And if something, like I said earlier, if something isn't squaring one place, it's going to really show up somewhere else. So there's a few pieces of the formed ridge cap that have a little bit of a gap in them. I've had to put some insulation in there to fill that up. But by and large, everything went together pretty easily.
The guys were really great to work with when it came to design and changes and evaluating the best way to do it, to make sure that we got what we wanted. I mean, there was a lot of conversations about what was the best way to do it, to make sure that we were able to do this nice porch area and not have to have any supports on the ground for it. They were really fantastic to work with. And then making sure that you understand your environment, of course, because if we hadn't done some of the things that we had done, I think that the building would have been exposed to more moisture, and that ultimately is something we want to avoid. So taking your time, talking to the design team and anybody who you're working with to make sure that everything that you're putting into the building is what you want.
Yeah. So Tristan's family is in farming, and her uncle said when we were talking to him, get the stem wall with your concrete on the side, because either it's going to keep out rain, it's going to keep out critters, or you're going to hit it with the skid steer bucket and you're not going to blow out a post.
Yep.
So little things like that you may not think about if you're not in the business or don't deal with the buildings every day.
Right. And you did, I guess there's some pictures of it, but I can show it here.
Yeah, we've had a couple of good floods come through. This one before the 4th of July, there's water about 6 inches up the side of that stem wall. There was brush and stuff that came down the hill and clogged up that grate, which, that happens. And we got tons of water pooled up there. And like I said, outside 6-8 inches up the side of the wall, and in the building, a little bit of seepage under one of the door sills, but otherwise inside the building was dry.
And then, of course, you're taking into account that you have, in our case, a foot above grade for the foundation or the footer or the foundational wall, but then your doors go all the way down to grade. So when you're planning it, the team was great to work with for that planning as well, because your door heights wouldn't be your typical door heights. You need to drop them a foot to accommodate.
Yep. I was going to say there's 2 ways. So there's really 2 ways to do a footing like this, right? So, I mean, it is nice to have a wall. a lot of buildings will have the column come all the way down to the ground. And then this stem wall out here will be what comes up. This is certainly an easier way to do it, and the way the way your columns and everything were, so it doesn't cost a lot of concrete. But I was looking through the file here. I noticed here's another expense that we talk about sometimes, and you actually had us through MVE, our third party design company that does foundation designs for us. You had us do the foundation engineering for you as part of the building package, right? And that was $1,500.
Worth it.
Worth it.
Yeah. So, and that's what I try to tell people is, there's sometimes it's not the best solution, but if you consider what local companies or somebody that's not very familiar with pre-engineered metal buildings is going to charge for an engineered foundation design, as long as we can get it done quickly enough for you and stuff like that, it's a great option that we offer everybody.
And I think since we did a lot of that legwork, we didn't have a general contractor putting this together. So I found you guys, I found the concrete guys. The concrete guy said, yeah, if you can get us those engineered drawings, great. Because they didn't know, the specifics for steel. They mostly did stick stuff. And so we went and paid that little expense to you guys, and it came back. They were able to read the drawings. Everything was done perfect. The folks that did our groundwork, the neighbor, he came back and dug out the trenches for all the footings. So everything just worked well. So if you've got the opportunity or ability to do some of that extra work yourself and vet out those other vendors, I think you may end up saving some costs there versus going to one person who knows, okay, they're coming to me for everything. I can charge them more because they don't want to go and look around and do the work themselves to find those other possible savings.
Right. Yeah. And you're saving the general contracting fees, which can be huge. Right.
Yeah. And
they're not always shopping the best way for you either. They're going to their guys. So they're not bidding, and quick way to save a bunch of money.
And in some cases they can actually get a discounted price, but in reality, we already had a discounted price on our ready mix concrete. So.
Right. This is a great picture. I was looking at the other one here. This is where you put in those recessed lights, and that's the same wall, right? Yeah, that's really, really cool. It kind of lights up the building, like you were saying, Tristan. When you're coming in, you can see your barn lit up, or the building, not barn. But
I want to say this just the one set of lights, not the whole thing. These are just the porch lights.
I think there's a picture in there too from
just the porch.
Yep. And you also have them up in the upper soffits, right?
In front of the building. Yep.
Okay.
Yep. There should be a picture in there too of that. There's the roofing weekend.
Looks like a good time.
We're all tied off. Maybe not proper, but we're tied off.
It is slippery up there at that grade, so the guys were very respectful of the grade.
I used to have like my regular work boots, where the rubber on the sole is really hard. You can't walk around on a roof with those. I had not like climbing shoes, but like hiking boots with a real kind of a soft sole.
Yep.
And those were my roofing shoes. So I'd, never wear them down below, or this one I was erecting. I'd never, when they'd go back in the trailer, they'd go in a bag, so I'm not getting rocks and stuff in them. And I could walk on pretty steep roofs.
There's garage door day.
Oh yeah.
Oh, yep. No, the concrete guys came back to pour our aprons.
We got the kids' handprints and the dates and things in the concrete eventually, and that was fun.
There we go.
Oh, there's a good one. Yeah. That is really, really lovely.
Again, we're planning on being on this property for a long time, so we figured do it right and do it once. Or at least not, try to cheap out to save a couple dollars here that down the road we'll be, thinking, oh, we should have done this differently, and then be stuck.
So,
yep, it snowed, and then I had to go up and finish that.
Remember Minnesota.
But right. But this must be like October or something, right?
Yep.
Okay.
It melted off.
That's a nice picture.
There's the garage door.
See, there's your garage doors going in. I want to get to your
Oh,
gutter. Your gutter got jacked up there.
Yeah, we had those gutter straps per the plans were every other or every third rib. So you sent out a whole nother stack of them, and that's been a great help.
We have that.
gutters, because the gutters move the water away from those front doors.
Yep.
And that helps a lot.
I'll share something. I'll share a new product that we have with you guys in a minute. But I want to get to the concrete because we're coming up on 50 minutes here. Of course, Justin's going to cut this down a little bit for us. Let me.
There we go.
This is awesome. Yeah. Let's see. Oh,
there's those.
The barn door.
Yep.
Oh, those turned out awesome.
Yep.
I don't. When we came out and did the video shoot, those weren't on there.
Nope, those are plastic
like,
for that first winter.
Okay, and it is like knotty yellow pine or that's real wood, right?
Yep.
Yeah. They're very.
And is and they're bucks too. You can open one or the top or the bottom.
Somebody was thinking ahead
for something that is yet to happen, but still, you know.
Did you build them yourself? Tim?
Yeah. Yep.
Oh, cool. So this is cleaning the inside of the building out, I assume.
Yep. We moved when we put in the hydrant. That was supposed to be the back wall of the building. You can kind of see it just to the right of the Bobcat there. Yep. And that was going to be the back wall of the building. And our neighbor groundwork friend said, maybe move the building back 10, 12 feet so you've got more room in front to turn around and park and stuff. Greatest idea in the world. So when we put in the floor, we dug out and moved that hydrant back another 10 feet.
Yeah, I don't know. Able to back.
So when you built the building, this was coming up through the floor.
Yep.
It was going to be the back wall.
Yep.
So we actually put the building back further and had a little more space. So we had to move the hydrant again, but no big deal.
I was wondering what you meant when you said hydrant earlier. When I think of a hydrant, I was thinking of a fire hydrant, but I call that like a farm spigot.
Yep.
Yeah.
And then we had to dig out about 5 inches of dirt from most areas of the building, actually about 7 inches, so we could get our insulation down under the concrete. So after a few years, this material, this ground was hard as a rock. It was like digging into concrete. So it took a long time to scrape that out.
Mm-hmm. It's a lot of nights of skid steer work.
Yep.
And I do remember, we're going to get off topic here for a second. When we first started, I was thinking of something. It was something that you said, and maybe it's because you guys are Midwest or something. But I got to understand, what is the difference between supper and dinner?
So dinner is considered to be the largest meal of the day, whether that's in the middle of the day or in the evening. Typically, especially in farming communities, that largest meal of the day would be in the evening. So oftentimes in our part of the country, you'll hear dinner and supper being used interchangeably. Supper is always the evening meal, but dinner may not necessarily be.
Dinner might be lunch.
Yeah, dinner might.
Okay.
Especially Sunday. Sometimes Sunday, you would end up with dinner in the middle of the day.
That's too hard for
Majority of the time, it's the evening meal.
Right? Hey, yeah, let's have dinner. Right? They're like, what? It's only 11:30. We can't have dinner now.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Well, thanks for explaining that one. I figure supper is dinner and dinner is supper, but I think
I probably the one who said that. My bad. Yeah. So these are the forms. Tim did a lot of research on what to use for the heated floors, and came up with this product. And I would definitely recommend it.
And this again came from our buildings. That's what he uses in everything that he does floors in now. And I found
so this was a product he recommends, like this brand or just this style?
The same brand.
Yep. What brand is that?
It's called Heat Sheet Heavy. They've got a couple of different variations based on your climate and temperatures, but this is the Heat Sheet Heavy, so it's ends up being 2 inches solid insulation under the floor, and then you have all these little nodules. It's like Legos that you run your PEX through, and they all lock together, so you don't need to put a vapor barrier of plastic underneath if you don't want to.
And so this isn't styrofoam. This is like a harder plastic, or it is styrofoam.
Yep, it's foam.
Okay. But you can walk on it?
Yep.
And so cutting it to shape and making it fit on the edges, if it's styrofoam, that's pretty easy.
Yep. And I've got a whole series on doing the floor on my YouTube channel too.
Oh, okay. So make sure, if you're interested in this floor, make sure that you go and check that out. And we can see the PEX running. Okay. Yep. So I'm familiar with I don't know what they're called. The styrofoam blocks that you can do, like the forming blocks and stuff like this. But in the pictures, this kind of looked like a hard white plastic.
Nope, it's just white dense foam. And the cost to do this versus the 2-inch pink foam was very marginal.
Because of the vapor barrier.
Right.
Because we didn't have to include the vapor barrier with this product. Whereas
because this is both.
And time saving. I mean, I walked the PEX in. There's a few places that I tamped it in with a post or the backhand of the little shovel. But by and large, you walked it right in. I had a reel that I made to uncoil all the PEX.
He didn't need my help to do this.
No.
Not much of it anyway.
And it just went down really easily. There's tools you can find online to grid out your PEX spacing depending on the size of your building, the size of your PEX that you're using.
Taking into account where your door openings are, where you may want more heat.
Oh, so kind of like a calculator almost.
It was like CAD.
Okay.
I think it's called LoopCAD. LoopCAD is a software name. Okay,
so in some places you'll want the PEX closer together, like maybe instead of every other space. Okay.
Yeah, but mostly they're spaced every 12 inches. Except by the overhead doors, they're a bit tighter.
Okay. And then you still did have to grid out rebar.
We didn't have to. We did the fiber in the concrete.
Right.
But you're already in there. It's a marginal expense for that extra assurance that something's not going to crack and heave and break that PEX.
Okay. So the like seeing these little hollows in here, that's not because it's styrofoam. Yep. That's not given the floor.
No,
that's not a substitute.
You've got 2 inches under the top of that white surface. So those little nodules are 7/8 inch high, and your PEX lays in there. Then you've got 2 inches underneath.
And being from the industry, I knew fiber was going to be a good option for us and a way to have a little extra insurance on top of our rebar. And it was a product that we were able to offer as a company, and I was definitely going to take advantage of that.
And how thick did you go for the slab?
It's between 4 and 5 inches throughout the entire building. So my eventual goal is to put a 4-post lift down. So I want to make sure we have a mobile 4-post lift. So we've got room that allows for that. And we've got the camper. We've got the 1-ton dually pickup. We've now got a 28,000 pound RV in there that I wanted to make sure that is not going to crack anything.
That
and there it's finished.
Way so clean.
That was the first night, date night was going and putting down all the sealer. So,
and I think the week prior to that, we were doing all the rebar ties as well. Yeah, we were a little sore after that. We spent a lot of hours bent over pulling the rebar ties together.
And now, do you have is the mechanical and stuff in already?
That's all.
Or that'll be
that one didn't last fall. It was strongly suggested that I get the shop floor heated even only to 40 degrees to prevent that from cracking and heaving. And we made that happen. And so this coming year, we should be able to have everything insulated at a nice, comfortable temperature to work in.
You're
awesome. Do you mind sharing how much that foam baseboard was, or the whatever you call that?
Oh, $5,800, $6,000, something like that. Again, it was very comparable
for the whole floor.
All that white sheet was about $5,000 or $6,000.
Okay.
Yep.
And did you have to have it like shipped in special, or is it like available at the home center?
Nope. There's a dealer in our area that services our region, and he has it shipped in from the manufacturer and brought it up on his gooseneck trailer one day, and we pushed him off the trailer, and that was it.
He left a little.
That's pretty awesome. Yep. So thanks for sharing that.
Yep. The
For sure.
when we've got the ability to work with local companies, especially friends and neighbors, go for it.
Yeah. Here you can see the horses checking out the concrete
Yeah.
too. It was new to them as well.
Oh.
They were sticking their heads in to check it out, and the kids started riding bike on it when it was safe to do so, and we had a good time before we moved everything back in.
Yeah, I saw that. It's like a turn into a little racetrack.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, or a roller skating rink.
Yes, I was on my rollerblades for a while too. Had to try them out. I hadn't been on them since college.
And there's a great shot with the garage door rails run up the 412 pitch. So there is nothing in the middle.
See the angle.
Yeah, it's a really cool setup. And on some buildings, like if it's here, we can't follow the roof pitch, but they do have the high lift, and then they have high lift to follow the roof pitch track, or vertical lift. Like if you have enough wall space, you could just make them run straight up against the wall, kind of like a loading dock. Yeah. All right. Well, we are at the hour mark. Man, thank you guys so much for coming to the Grand Junction.
Thank you for having us out here.
That really, really had a good time. And it doesn't look like it, but we're actually in the same building here. You're just a couple of offices down. So I'll catch back up with you guys in a second as soon as we're done here. But man, thanks again. You guys are awesome. Thank you for the shirt. I meant to wear the shirt that you gave me today, but I left it in the car or whatever. I wasn't thinking when I got here. But and thanks again.
That's fine. One thing when I walked in the office this morning, there's a picture of our building on your back wall in the entrance. And the gals asked if I needed any help. I'm like, yeah, we're here to see Eric. That's our building.
Like,
Oh,
that's us.
Yep.
Right.
I'm gonna make sure to get a picture of that before we go.
cool. Well, thank you very much.
And thank you for inviting us out.
Yes.
Yeah, it's been a pleasure. So